Have you ever wondered how some people manage to live happily and peacefully even while living alone after 70? Many believe that loneliness is synonymous with sadness, but the truth is that, for some people, this stage of life is when they find more freedom, tranquility, and personal fulfillment. Today, I'm going to show you 7 clear signs that someone is truly happy and at peace with their own life, even while living alone in their senior years. If you're over 70 or know someone who is, stay until the end because the last sign may surprise you. Sign 1. They don't need company to feel complete. One of the clearest signs that someone is at peace with themselves, even when living alone after 70, is that they simply don't feel the constant need for company. This might seem strange to many, especially in a society that teaches us living alone is bad, sad, it's a sign of abandonment. But the truth is different. Some people find a kind of peace in their own presence that no crowd can offer. They know how to be alone, without feeling lonely. And that's a huge difference. They wake up early, put the water on to boil, feel the aroma of coffee fill the kitchen. And in that moment, right there, alone, they feel gratitude. They feel lightness. Because they've learned to appreciate the small rituals of daily life. And more, they've learned to be their own company. These people usually have simple yet powerful hobbies. They read. They take care of plants. They write letters. They do crossword puzzles. They listen to music from when they were young. And all of this fills their heart, without needing anyone by their side constantly telling them everything is okay. Because they already know it's okay. There's no neediness, no rush, no anxiety. These people have developed something that few achieve throughout their lives: emotional self-sufficiency. They don't live waiting for a visit, a phone call, or a message to feel important. And because of that, when the visit comes or the phone rings, it's a gift, not a necessity. And this doesn't mean they don't enjoy company. Quite the opposite. They love being with their children, grandchildren, neighbors. But their happiness doesn't depend on it. They are already complete even in silence. Even in their own space. Even with the house empty. Being truly okay alone is a superpower that not everyone develops. But those who do carry with them a quiet and profound peace that can't be bought, taught, or explained. It can only be felt. Sign 2. They have a balanced routine. Another clear sign that someone is happy and at peace, even while living alone after 70, is that they maintain a simple, balanced, and above all, enjoyable routine. They don't live on autopilot. Every part of the day has meaning. It has a rhythm. It has care involved. They wake up early. Open the windows slowly. Let the light in, smell the morning, maybe play some background music. The day is beginning, and that alone is enough reason to smile. They prepare their coffee calmly, choose what they're going to eat, sit at the table, eat slowly, without a phone, without distractions, without rushing. Because rush no longer has a place in the life of someone who has found peace. Maybe after coffee comes a walk. Or some time spent caring for the plants. Or a moment of prayer. Every step of the day has been created with affection. Not because it's a standard to follow, but because this routine gives life meaning. During the day they stay organized. Take care of the house. Read a bit. Check the news. Have lunch on time, then take some time to rest. A light nap without guilt, as if they know their time is precious. They don't live waiting for Saturday or holidays. Every day is special. Because each moment is theirs. And the most beautiful part is that this routine, even though simple, is organized with intention. They have set times, small commitments, pauses, limits. And this structure, this order, brings a silent security, as if the body itself is saying, "We're good, we can continue this way." A balanced life doesn't need to be full of activities. It just needs presence, lightness, and rhythm. Someone with a good routine doesn't just pass the time. They live with purpose and with peace. Sign 3. They know how to say no without guilt. After 70, something changes. The rush fades away, the urgency of other people's opinions diminishes, and gradually a person learns one of life's most powerful lessons: knowing how to say no. Not out of coldness, not out of selfishness, but out of wisdom. Someone who is at peace with themselves, who lives happily even while living alone, understands that saying no is also a form of self-love. It's protecting their own peace. They know they don't have to accept every invitation. They don't have to be at every event or meet every expectation. If they're tired, they rest. If they're not in the mood, they simply decline with kindness. During youth, many people try to please others, saying yes to everything even when their heart is screaming no. But with time, with maturity, priorities shift. There comes a point when tranquility is worth more than approval. And when that awareness hits, no stops being a burden and becomes freedom. They no longer engage in unnecessary arguments. They don't get involved in family conflicts that drain their energy. They don't agree to do things they don't want to do just to maintain appearances. And the most beautiful part is that they do this without guilt. Without needing to justify themselves too much. Without fear of being misunderstood. They understand that those who truly love them will respect their boundaries. Because real love accepts the no with the same care that it accepts the yes. Saying no is an act of courage, but also of peace. And when a person even alone is able to do this with ease, they show they are exactly where they want to be, within themselves, firmly, truthfully, and serenely. Sign 4. They find meaning in simple things. After living so much, those who reach 70, and are at peace with themselves, discover something that many people spend their whole lives without understanding. Happiness resides in the simple. It's not about big trips. Nor about having a lot of money, fame, or brilliant achievements. It's about that moment when the coffee warms your hands on a cold morning. It's about smelling the wet earth after the rain. It's about hearing a bird's song and pausing for a moment, just to appreciate it. These people find meaning in small routines. In the cake baking in the oven. In the clothes drying in the sun. In organizing a drawer, cleaning the porch, placing the favorite tablecloth just because. An old photo. A handwritten letter. A radio playing a song from decades ago. All of this holds immense value. Because they no longer seek what is new, they cherish what is real. And you know what's even more beautiful? They're not bored. They're not frustrated. On the contrary, they are more connected to life than many young, fast-paced people out there. They live in the present. With presence. And they understand that every detail, no matter how small it seems, is a gift. And even if they're alone, they don't treat their life as something insignificant. They prepare lunch with care. Serve with elegance. Light incense. Play background music. Because they've learned that simplicity, when done with love, transforms into beauty. Finding meaning in simple things is a profound form of wisdom. It's looking at the world with eyes of gratitude. Those who live this way even when alone, are never empty. They're full of what truly matters. Sign 5. They remain curious and engaged. A clear sign that someone is at peace with life, even while living alone after 70, is when what predominates within them is not regret, it's gratitude. They look back and don't just see the mistakes. They see the lessons. They don't dwell on what could have been, they value what was. Even with the stumbles, the losses, the pain, they've learned to be grateful for every step, every phase, every cycle they've been through. They know that not everything went as planned. But they also understand that life is like that, imperfect, unpredictable, and still wonderful. Instead of dwelling on the past, they honor their own story. They fondly remember the people who passed through their lives, the difficult phases overcome, the moments of laughter and also of tears, because all of that built who they are. And this gratitude doesn't need to be spoken out loud. Sometimes it's in a long gaze at the sky, in a whispered prayer, in a note written just for themselves. They've learned that complaining changes nothing, but gratitude changes everything. It changes the way they see the world, it changes how they feel inside. And even while living alone, they don't feel empty. Because they remember everything they've lived through, and feel gratitude for having made it this far. For having raised children. For having loved. For having worked, cried, and overcome. For being alive. Those with more gratitude than regrets carry a different light in their hearts. A serene calm that comes from someone who has already understood the secret of life. It's not about having everything, it's about valuing everything they've had. And that is peace. Sign 6. They hold no grudges. Anyone over 70 who lives in peace with themselves carries one of the greatest freedoms a human being can achieve, the freedom of not comparing themselves to anyone else. They don't waste time asking why so-and-so has more money, or why such and such travels more. They aren't bothered by what they see on social media, nor do they measure their own happiness by other people's standards. They know that everyone has their own path. That life is not a silent competition. That no one is better or worse, just different. They no longer need approval. They no longer seek applause. They aren't bothered if the neighbor's daughter is more successful, or if the friend's grandson studied abroad. They've learned that comparison only creates two feelings, either frustration or vanity. And neither of these nourishes the soul. And because of this, they live with more lightness. They focus on what they have. They value what they've achieved. They accept what they've lost. And they move on with dignity. They understand that everyone has their own time. That some flowers bloom in the summer, and others only blossom in the fall. This awareness changes everything. Not comparing oneself is a clear sign of emotional maturity. It's recognizing one's own worth, without needing to diminish or mirror anyone else. And when someone reaches this point, you can be sure, they've found a type of peace that can't be bought, nor learned, it's earned through living. Sign 7. They take pride in their own story. When someone lives alone after 70, and still remains at peace, serene, content with life, you can be sure, this person has an invisible foundation supporting it all. And that foundation most of the time has a name: faith. It could be a religion. It could be personal spirituality. It could be a simple daily conversation with God while looking at the sky. It doesn't matter the form. What matters is the connection to something greater. These people have understood, over time, that there are things in life we can't control, and that trying to understand everything is exhausting. So they trust. They surrender. They give thanks. And they move forward. Faith became a companion on silent days. It became strength in moments of pain. It became comfort in losses, and a reason for joy in small blessings. Having spirituality isn't about elaborate rituals. It's about feeling that life has a purpose. That each new day is a gift. That time is right, even when it doesn't seem so. And this faith, this silent presence within the chest, is what prevents loneliness from turning into sadness. It's what transforms silence into meditation, longing into prayer, emptiness into gratitude. Those with faith carry light. Even alone, they are not truly alone, because their soul has already learned to rest in something eternal, that doesn't age, that doesn't abandon, that doesn't fade. And this, more than anything, is what gives meaning to the final chapters of life. Living alone after 70 doesn't have to be sad. In fact, it can be the most authentic and free time of life. These 7 signs show that when we cultivate inner peace, age only increases our ability to be happy. If you know someone living alone at this age, share this video with care. And if you're going through this phase, tell me in the comments, which of these signs resonates with you the most?